They've been here since the beginning of this place. They were number 10 to arrive. And they've been, it's a long journey right here. They've traveled much, including the Amazon, jungles of Peru, Brazil, and Bolivia. And one of their trips to Brazil was to see and picture the jaguars in the southwest part, and this is a summary of that trip. Today we have Marie and Fernando here, and those of you that know Fernando know that he's real shy. So Marie's gonna do the talking. So at this time, I'd like to present Fernando and Marie.
All right, since I don't have a microphone, I'm gonna have to talk a little louder, and most of you will probably be able to see what I say there. Anyhow, just a little background on why we are here
Turn off the
today.
lights, please.
I'm sorry.
Turn the lights off.
Well, I don't know what it.
Turn the lights
I
on.
think we need the lights so we can
No,
see.
you can't see the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Turn
Well, it's
you
too
can.
dark.
It's
It's too
now.
dark in here.
You don't sit with the lights on in the
Can
room.
you see?
I was.
This is not
You're
moving.
I know, but I can't. Now you see the screen.
Can you see it now?
Yes, it's wonderful. No. We need
I
it.
was quiet.
Okay, can I go?
Yes.
All right, before we show this, I just want to tell you. We were talking before, we have traveled quite a bit in Brazil. As you know, Brazil is one of the 3 largest countries in the Americas. Brazil, US, and Canada are the 3 largest countries. Brazil in itself has a lot of other countries that are really neighbors to them. In fact, one of the few countries that has so many neighbors. You know, Paraguay, Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela, etc. And it's known for 2 areas. The Amazons, which you all heard and know, and you probably have been there. And that's in the upper part of Brazil. It starts in Peru and it flows all the way to the Atlantic, one of the largest rivers in the world. And we have been there 2 or 3 times. And the other area is called the Pantanal area. And that's also full of rivers, but the rivers do not flow into the Amazons at all. They flow from the Andes onto the La Plata area, which is in Argentina. And in the process of flowing there, it created this area that you see there in light green, and it's called the Pantanal. Pantanal is well known because it has dry seasons and wet seasons, and during the dry seasons you see a lot of wildlife, and because of you see a lot of wildlife, there's a lot of jaguars there that feed on them, as well as other animals. I have been there both in business and pleasure, and in one of my trips I heard about the fact that a fellow by the name of Charles Munn, M-U-N, who went to Princeton, and by the way is a very good friend of one of our residents here, Kathy Bristol. Kathy and him were actually in, I think it was either Princeton, I'm pretty sure it was Princeton. And he was rated as one of the persons that may make a big difference in the world. And by God, he sure did. He's an ecologist. He is a lover of wildlife. And then he decided to go to Brazil and protect the jaguars. And in the process of doing that, he created a company called South Wild, which still exists today. And he takes people from Europe and the US there. I heard about it, and Marie and I decided to go there. And that was in 2014. Obviously, it's a long trip. It's a very interesting trip, which Marie will tell you more about it. And Charles and I, and we talked yesterday. Today, he is in Peru, in Chile, and he's taking a whole bunch of German and American tourists to see pumas and condors. So he's involved in that, and he also has a place in Alaska where he can take you to see bears. So at the end of the program, if any of you is interested in contacting him, or we have his address, his telephone number, etc. Marie is the photographer in the family. I'm a very accomplished photographer, as you're going to be able to see. So with that, I'll leave her to tell you more about our trip in detail. So, Muti, you're on.
Okay. All right, thanks, honey. Yeah, like Fernando said, we went there in the fall of 2014 for 7 days with the hopes of seeing a jaguar or two in the wild. They guaranteed a sighting of at least one and the return of our money if we didn't. At the end, we were happy to have seen 10 jaguars.
Wow.
It's important to note, though, that sighting jaguars was the main reason for our trip. We were delighted to discover an abundance of fascinating birds and other wildlife. So we'll talk about that also. Here again, you see the location of the Pantanal in the southwest corner of Brazil. It is so large that it also is in Bolivia and in Paraguay. The word Pantanal means swamp. It is a plain that floods for 3 months out of the year. Next slide. Here we are at the airport. Fernando is pretending he is a guide, greeting our daughter and son-in-law who accompanied us on our trip. And here we are at the start of the Transpantanal Highway. This is a dirt road that crosses the entire Pantanal. It uses 126 wooden bridges in various states of repair. Okay. Another one. Okay, it will lead us to our river destination and the small tributaries where the majority of the jaguars are to be found. We rode in the back of this truck. There were some seats in the back, so it was more comfortable than it looks. We shared the road with ranch cattle. Okay, that's another one. We shared the road with the ranch cattle and of the Pantanal and their cowboys. There you see the very sturdy wooden bridges that we went over. Okay, here come the cattle. Now, with the multiplication of the ranches and the loss of habitat for the jaguars started eating some of the cattle. And so the ranchers were always shooting the jaguars. And so Charles Munn and other people made an arrangement whereby if a rancher were to lose his cattle, he would be reimbursed from the ecosystem, ecotourism fund that was coming into the country. And so that seemed to work pretty well. Okay, next. Okay, and that's our first sighting of a caiman, way down there. Next. Oh, I love these. Curiously, the local parakeets do not build individual nests, but construct their version of an apartment house, with each unit having its own entrance. Really quite fascinating. Next. These funny mounds are actually termite nests.
Termites.
And then next, it began to get dark. On the road after dark on this first night, Oh, I was going to show, but we didn't have the slide. It ran off. We met our first tarantula on the road. So we greeted each other and parted ways very quickly. Okay, so the next, oh, the sunsets there were just magnificent. That humid air was terrific for the sunsets. Next. This was our accommodation on the first night. In 2014, the light was provided by a generator and was quite dim. After a dusty ride, I wanted to take a shower and was groping around to turn it on. I grabbed what I thought was the shower handle and came away with a soft and wiggling creature. It turned out to be a large toad. I think he doesn't live there anymore. So, okay, on we went, this next slide. On we went the next day, and after 4 hours, we reached the river and our flotel, that's float and hotel. Now, that other one that you saw was not it. This was it. And it was very, very nice. And so we'll see the inside here and next there. The accommodations were really very comfortable and clean. So now, next one. Each day we went out early in a small boat to search the small tributaries for jaguars. We'd return for a quick lunch and then be out again. Next. The group was just the 4 of us. You will probably recognize us. That's Fernando and me, and our daughter Linda, and her husband Pat. So immediately we began to see fascinating creatures along the way. That is a cocoa heron. Many types of herons there, by the way. Next, these charming creatures are the largest rodents in the world. They are called capybaras, and they reach about 140 pounds. The only sad thing for them is that all the animals want to eat them. They are very family oriented. They really hang together in very charming little groups. Next. There they are. All right, next. Deep in the water plants there, where you can't see them very well, is a jacana. And jacanas, next. Jacanas have 4, now you can see them better, 4 long, black, skinny toes. And they walk on the water plants. But they are called the Jesus Christ birds because when they are walking on the lily pads that are slightly submerged, they look like they're walking on water. So, the Jesus Christ birds. Now, let's see. Next. So many caiman. Okay. Now, to the caiman, we appeared to be part of the boat. So we were actually able to get, within 10, 20 feet of them without worry. Okay. Now, let's go next. And next.
Wow.
And next. And next. Now, they look very ferocious, and they are, but they are not the top of the food chain. Next. The jaguar is the top of the food chain.
Wow.
And 75% of their diet in this area consists of caiman. Yeah.
Gosh, that's a great.
So the jaguar are able to swim nicely. So they swim very quietly, they sneak up on the caiman, and then they have their meal.
Wow.
Okay, next. These fellows are the giant river otters. They're very different from our cute and cuddly otters in the bay. These are quite aggressive and vicious. They eat fish and generally go in groups, family groups of 5. Okay? They can climb on land. You see, they're rather large and they have big teeth. Next. This I love. This is a group of 5, and they are teasing a jaguar who is sitting up above on the top of the cliff. There she is. And she's looking down at them, and they're just frolicking away down below and having such a good time, making her angry. But the interesting thing is that a group of 5 otters are so vicious that a jaguar will not attack a group of 5. If it's one otter, she'll go after it. But this time, it's just looking. Okay, next. From the beasts to the beauties. These are the hyacinth macaws, as you probably know. And they're absolutely gorgeous. They were in very short supply in the pet trade, the smuggling pet trade. They used to fetch $50,000 a piece. They're gorgeous birds. Okay, next. And you can see why they're so beautiful. Next. Now, if you happen to hear a sound like a freight train coming into the station, it could be a howler monkey.
Yeah.
So there is the male and the female of the howler monkeys. The male is always black, the female always blonde. And next, let's see. Oh, well, that's a female. Okay, and next. And here you can see the little one is blonde also, coming down on the back of, I'm not sure. It looks pretty blonde for a female. But anyway, that little blonde youngster, as it grows, will turn either black or blonde, depending on its sex. But I love that picture of the little fellow hooking a ride. Okay. And next. And oops, that was a woolly monkey, but that's okay. So here you see a jaguar. This was our first jaguar. And she was coming down into the water, which really surprised us at the time, until we learned the jaguars are very comfortable in the water. And they do quite a bit of swimming. Okay, next. This is a recent mom jaguar. And she has her cubs hidden back in the bushes there. And like all good moms, next, she is tired. And next, very tired. And next, very tired, and still more tired. Really tired. Okay. So we were pretty close to her, but she couldn't care less. Okay. This is the Jabiru stork. It looks very much like an old dinosaur. Scaly legs and that red collar around its neck. It's about 5 feet tall. It's very big. Okay, next. It has a very, very wide wingspan of up to 9 feet. And if you look closely, you can see it's carrying a fish back to its nest. They're very graceful flyers and beautiful. Okay. And there's the nest, and you see mother and dad there's always a great difference between the mother and dad, about 25% difference in height. And the two are wed for life, and they both take care of the young. And if you look above them, there's a caracara hawk who's thinking about, wouldn't it be nice if I could come down and eat one of the young? But anyway, they're very, very family oriented. Okay. Now this is the caracara, and he's by the side of a little river. And next, we find out that he has found a fish, which he drags onto the beach. And next, he hides the fish in the bushes. And next, he comes out looking very innocent, looks at us and says, "What fish?" So, okay, next. This is Aracari. I don't know if it's a relative of the toucan, but it certainly looks like a small toucan. Okay? And that's another view of him. Okay? And of course, you probably know this bird is a kingfisher and is constantly by the side of the river, and he fishes. Okay, another one. And there's another kingfisher. Okay. These, if you've ever seen them, you will know that they're called cacique nests, and they're built in such a way that there's no opening except at the bottom. So it makes the nest a very secure, safe place from things like toucans that go around robbing the eggs. Isn't that intriguing? Okay. These are just a little glimpse of what the country looks like as you go down the little tributaries. Okay? A lot of water plants. Okay. And again, alrighty, this is a good story. We came across this jaguar swimming in the water, and she looked agitated, and we didn't really know why. So she was, okay, next. She was swimming up and down in a sort of fierce way, so she couldn't quite make up her mind. And then she decided next to go up and land where we were told her daughter was. And see, the second one there is the daughter. And by the way, the jaguars do stay with their mothers for quite a while, much longer than some species. So anyway, so the mother is trying to make up her mind. What should she do about this problem? And finally, our guide suggested that she had had a kill, and that a big male had come along and stolen the kill, and he was hiding back there in the brown bushes behind her. So, next one. She was thinking very hard what she was going to do next. And she went back to her daughter, and the daughter now was walking behind her and said, you know, what are you thinking, Mom? What's going on? And with that, next, she turned around, and next, she put on her good hunting face and left the daughter just standing there like, okay, Mom, I'll wait here. And then there was a terrible scuffle in the bushes behind, and that is the offending male, and she drove him straight out of the bushes, and he had quite some blood on him. Next. I don't know, it doesn't show up too well, but he has blood on his face and also on his rear side. And so Mom and daughter were quite happy. He jumped in the water ahead of our little boat, swam away in a big hurry. Okay, next. Now, talking about a big hurry, We saw this a little later on the river. There are two capybara and a caiman who are natural enemies, but they're both on the same raft of reeds. And they're in a big hurry to get away from a jaguar who was swimming behind them. And I don't think he caught them. I don't think so. But we weren't sure. So, okay, next. These birds are called skimmers. And they had a nest on the beach, which was interesting. Well, first of all, they fly right along the surface of the water looking for fish, and they're very good fisher people. When they get to the beach, and we were on the beach there too with them, the one male, he pretended that his wing was hurt, and he flopped around on the beach to distract us from his nest, which was on the beach. And then he flopped away quite a ways, and sure enough, we didn't pay attention to his nest anymore. So he was clever in that way. Okay. These are called southern screamers. Screamers. And they live up to their name. They go up to the top of the trees and they yell bloody murder. Anyway, I don't know, they look nicer than they are. So, okay, next. And these are guinea fowl. Looks like they might come in handy on Thanksgiving, I don't know, but there they are. They walk around too a lot. All right. This I just thought was a pretty picture, a dove and a parakeet, but the colors just look so nice. Okay, and this is a Donacopius, which has a most, first of all, beautiful appearance, but secondly, a beautiful song. And so he deserved a good picture. Okay, and this is a black-collared hawk. And next, this is the great black hawk. And we called him Darth Vader. We went fishing right next to us in this pond. And he was better at fishing than we were. So there he is coming around the bend. And he swooped down next to us and scooped up a fish. Next one. And there he is. If you could see the fish in his paw, you can see the fish in his talons, I guess. And he really was a fierce looking thing. If I were a fish, I would be very afraid. Okay, next. This is called the black-capped heron, a very delicate and shy creature, and we felt lucky to have seen him. Okay. Back to the Jabiru storks, and another shot next of them up in their nest feeding the young. They're really a lovely little family. Okay, next. So we went fishing again ourselves. And there's Fernando, and he's just caught a piranha. And believe it or not, piranhas make very good eating. You make a soup out of them, and they're delicious. Okay, next. And this is a peacock bass. Okay, next. Our daughter caught it. And they have like a sunburst on their tail. They're very easily identified. And unfortunately, the guide here had his hand over the tail, so you can't see it. Anyway, Linda was very happy to have caught it. There it is again. And again. And this was just a nice green lizard. Maybe a small iguana, I'm not sure. But I thought he was kind of pretty. Okay, next. Now, in the afternoon, the clouds would come up and it would pour rain, and the rainbows would come out afterward. Next. And it was always a great time to look around if you could. Okay, next. And next. Really magnificent sunsets. This was the little kitchen on the boat, and the food was very good. It was clean, very appetizing, simple, but very good. And I guess we enjoyed the bar in the background too. So, okay. That's Linda, Pat, and our guide. Okay. This is just to show you how good the camouflage of these jaguars is. So, okay, next. So they hide pretty well in the grass. Next. All right. Now, do you recognize her? That is the daughter from our previous drama. And the way jaguars are recognized is from the spots on their forehead up just between their eyes. So you just follow that from her nose straight up, and the pattern will be different for every jaguar. Now, in that area, they actually keep a little registry of jaguars, so they'll kind of know how many they are and who's new and who's not there anymore. And so this one was definitely the daughter in that little scenario. And they told Fernando, who spotted them first, that anybody there who spotted a jaguar who was new, that he would be named after him. Now, the only problem was it was a girl. So we're proud to say that somewhere in the Pantanal, hopefully having cubs now, is a beautiful young lady named Fernanda. So that was our trip. We were so glad to come. We were grateful to the conservationists like Charles Munn for having made it possible to come to such a wonderful area and still feel safe. Maybe not with toads, but it was a great trip. So that was it.
Birds attract other animals. In that same area, they are beautiful. We did not get to see this time giant anteaters, which are about this big. They're great. And then there's also, in that general area, there's a little river. It's absolutely crystal clear. We could not go under it. And that's where they catch most of the color fish that we buy here in the States, you know, the wonderful Amazon fish, the little ones.
The little tropical, yeah.
Tropical fish.
Are there any other large animals other than the jaguar?
Pumas.
Or are they the only ones that live in that area?
No, the pumas are there. And the Maine wolf.
Oh.
In a separate,
yeah.
not on this one, but on a separate trip, we were also taken to see the Maine wolf. And the wolves are very big, and they have manes that are very long, and you only see them in the nighttime. So they, wherever we were, they walked us up at 12 o'clock. We went out to a place, and the guide said, "You gotta be patient." We called them, and sure enough, we are with our flashlights, and by God, the Maine wolves are coming over. It's just as far as this thing. So yeah.
A lot of snakes, I assume a lot of snakes in that area?
We did not see a lot of snakes. They are very large yellow anacondas. The yellow anacondas are proper to this area. And an anaconda could be as large as 15, 20 feet. I have seen them in the Bolivian side, and there are some beautiful anacondas that they are rainbow. They have different colors. Another thing that you have to be careful, again, not this trip, but another one. When Marie and I went there, we went to a place where they said, be careful, here, don't take your glass or hold on to your glasses or anything you have, because the monkeys will come and steal them.
Yeah.
And sure enough, Marie's walking, and what happened? One of them,
I had prescription glasses on. And this monkey, I thought I was safe because they were on, right? The monkey grabbed it up and took him up the tree. And one of the people that lived there said, "Don't worry," and he got a banana. And he said, he traded. I got my glasses back. He got the monkey,
glasses here.
the banana, yeah.
So, yeah, there are a lot of
There's a commercial like that about your credit card.
I think I've seen that, yes, yeah, I've seen that.
Oh, that's funny. Marie, you know that I've never understood those termite mounds. They're really made by termites?
Yes,
They're all over Africa.
What, Marie?
yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the termite mounds, but yes, they are made by,
Oh.
yeah, some of them, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful slides.
Yeah.
And I like Fernanda. Now I know that I have a relative in
But you know, I was just reading that the jaguars in the wild have mostly a life expectancy of about 12 years. So I think Fernanda is an old lady now. Yeah,
Well, we saw her
at the good
in
time.
2014, and at that time she was already almost a year, not quite, it was 6 months when we saw that picture. So yeah, she's getting to be old. Why Fernanda's got old, I don't know.
I don't know, it doesn't happen to the rest of us, of course. So, okay.
During the year, they're always having more animals, more jaguars born, so that they're constantly replenishing the amount of jaguars that are out. They don't just all die and then you get the pups born.
No. You're right, yeah.
They're like us, they're always regenerating.
That's right. Thank God in this particular area, the Pantanal, yes, they're being, the last time I talked to Chuck, in the small area where we were, they have identified 80 jaguars.
Oh, wow.
And they obviously they haven't identified all of the jaguars, but at least 80 of them. And they take pictures of the face to be sure that who they are and so forth, and they chase them. Yeah. Anyhow.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.